There are several options for targeting HTML elements in CSS. Here is a simple web page with several photographs taken when my father and my nieces visited California. I changed the width of all the images to 800 pixels in Photoshop to reduce the file size so that the web page will download faster from a web server. However, I want the first image to stretch across the top as a banner while all the other images are tiled at a smaller size underneath it. Looking at the code, it is clear that the images are all saved in the Images folder. One method to target these images to add a style is by using the name of the element. Add style tags. Type in img to target all img elements. Within the curly braces, add any styles you want to be applied to the images. I am going to set the width of the images to 300 pixels. Save and refresh the page. The images are all tiled now. However, I do not want this style applied to the first image. Another method of targeting elements on a page is by giving them an ID. Add the ID attribute to the first img element with an ID of banner. Add an ID to the other img elements as well. Each ID should be unique. For now, I will just give values for the ID that correspond to the image files. In CSS, to target an element by its ID, use the hashtag in front of the element's ID. Change img to #A so the style is applied only to the element with the ID of A. Save and refresh the page. Now the style is being applied only to one image. Let's add a style for the banner image. #banner. Inside the curly braces, set the width to 100% and set the margin bottom to 20 pixels to create some space between the banner and the other images. Save and refresh the page. Now the banner stretches to the size of the window and adjusts as the window is resized. Let's add a bit more CSS to get rid of the white space around the banner image. For the body element, set the margin to 0. When setting the margin to 0, the PX is not required. Save and refresh the page. How do we add the same style with width of 300 pixels to the remaining elements? We could duplicate that style targeting each of the elements by their ID, but this would not be an elegant solution. In this case, we could list the ID of all of the elements we want the style applied to, using commas to separate them. Save and refresh the page. Now all the images other than the banner have the same style. Using commas to target multiple elements is sometimes useful. However, in this case there is still a better approach. Change the ID attribute of each of the gallery images to the class attribute. Set the value of the class for the images to gallery image. Now all of these images have the same class, and we can set a style for that class. Change the list of element IDs to gallery image. Add a dot in front of the class name to indicate to the browser that you are specifying a class name. While we are at it, let's add a 6-pixel margin to all of the gallery images. Add a border that is 3 pixels thick, solid, and black. Save and refresh the page. You can see the styles were applied to all the images except for the banner. There is one additional method for targeting HTML elements with CSS, and I believe this method would be an improvement over using a class in this case. Remove the class from each of the img elements. Create a div element to hold all of the gallery images. For readability, indent all the code between the div and close div tags. For now, just think of a div as a container or box. Give the div an ID of gallery. In the CSS, you can target all the images inside of an element using a space. Remove the class name and put in #gallery, then a space, and then img. Here, we are targeting all img elements that are inside the gallery div. Let's make some slight changes to the style of these images. Set the width to 28%, set the margin to 1%, and set the border radius to 10%. Save and refresh the page. Now, without having to set an ID or class for the gallery images, we have successfully applied a style to them without affecting the banner image. And by using percents instead of pixels, we have also made our site responsive to different screen sizes. In this video, we were targeting IMG elements through CSS in various ways. However, these same methods may be used when targeting any HTML elements. These are concepts that, when mastered, will greatly improve your coding efficiency and result in sites that are much easier to maintain. For now, my friends, this is all I have to say about targeting HTML elements in CSS.